When most people feel like they're not doing well in groups, they blame it on their dance ability. But it's not you. But it's not your dance ability, sorry. You just don't know how to dance in front of other people. You can dance well in the class, you can dance well with friends, you can dance well with people you're comfortable with. But all of a sudden when you're placed in that like spotlight, you're in the middle of the floor, there's that big empty space around you, then maybe a few other dancers, no one wants to stand in the middle, you don't want anyone to watch you. And that is the hurdle that you have to overcome. It's not your dance ability, it's your tolerance to having other people watch you dance. Most people take the wrong lesson. They'll just think, oh yeah, if I'm doing poorly in groups, I'm a bad dancer. It's like, no, you don't know how to dance in groups. It's a completely different skill set. It's like you need to learn the difference. All right, so tell me if you relate to this experience. If you've ever walked into a class and for the entire class, you feel like you're doing well, you're doing good, you're keeping up, the steps are easy to digest. You feel like you've got this routine down, you know? You're drilling, you can keep up with the entire class. Even when the teacher speeds up the routine, you feel like you're doing great. By the time groups rolls around, you feel confident. You walk out into the middle of the dance floor, you feel confident, but all of a sudden, you start overthinking. You look in the mirror and you're all by yourself. You feel other people are watching you. It's like you feel like people's staring. Like you feel them watching you, like feel them judging you almost. The camera's there, the teacher's watching you now, like you almost like have this desire to like impress this teacher, like I want them to like think I'm a good dancer. The camera's there, so like every single mistake that you make is like solidified on fucking tape. And now you start thinking too much in your head, and that's when it happens. You blank out and you forget the routine. You're like, oh fuck, what were the first steps? So you were so distracted by all of these other things. Now, when it comes down to actually performing, you fuck it up. How can I feel that I danced so well during the entire class, but all of a sudden, when I'm placed in front of a camera and placed in front of other dancers to watch me, I blank out? Like, how does that fucking work? It doesn't make sense to me. And there's one main reason for it. The reason that you blanked out during the class wasn't because you were a bad dancer. It was just because you weren't even learning the dance. You were just copying the dancers in front of you, or just copying the teacher in front of you. So you're not dancing, you're just copying people. And yes, there is an element to that, like when you go to class, you're copying the dance, you're copying the teachers, but for you to actually do well in groups, which I'm hoping is the result that you want, for you to do that, you need to actually instill the routine into your body. You need to do that as the next phase of your learning. You should want to be an established dancer who doesn't need to rely on the mirror, rely on the teacher, rely on other dancers in front of you to dance well. And I think that's one of like the biggest things that like caused me to blank out during groups. It was because I wasn't even dancing on my own. I was just using the wrong visual cues. Because your brain likes to have habits. It doesn't like to change its routine. It likes to like get into a routine. So if you spend 45 minutes drilling a routine, drilling 3 8 counts, 3 8 counts, 3 8 counts, and you're doing it with other people around you, you're doing it with the teacher in front of you, you're doing it all relaxed, all chill, there's no camera in front of you, you're not doing it by yourself, you get used to that environment, that learning environment. But all of a sudden, the last 10, 15 minutes, the teacher, the class, they change the learning environment. You just start dancing in a completely different environment and they expect you to just adapt very quickly. And that's a hard thing because when you first start out, it's kind of like when you have that realization, it's like if you're watching this video, you've probably just started taking dance classes and you realize the actual steepness of the learning curve in front of you. You're like, oh fuck, this is way harder than I thought. I'm gonna be like embarrassing myself for a long fucking time now. So that's one of the mistakes that I don't want you to make. I don't want people to actually get out of this awkward beginner phase. So that's what my content's about. It's like my videos have always been about helping people through this awkward beginner phase. So if you do want more of that advice, if you want more of those things, I have a free community. It's a bunch of other choreography dancers. We're all like in our like beginner intermediate phases. We all help each other out. We ask each other questions and we help each other like overcome dance struggles. We share our class videos. We keep each other accountable. So if you want to check that out, it should be the top link in the description. So reason number 2 why you probably keep blanking out in dance class It's probably because you're still in a dancing mindset and you're not in a performing mindset. And I want to like drill this lesson into like every single dancer. When you go to class, the first 40, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, that's dancing. You're having fun, you're learning a routine, you're dancing to music, to a song that you like, you're doing it with friends, you're like having fun, you're having a laugh, you're having a smile. That's great. But the last 10 minutes, that's like lock-in mode. When most people feel like they're not doing well in groups, they blame it on their dance ability. But it's not you. But it's not your dance ability, sorry. You just don't know how to dance in front of other people. You can dance well in the class, you can dance well with friends, you can dance well with people you're comfortable with. But all of a sudden, when you're placed in that like spotlight, you're in the middle of the floor, there's that big empty space around you, and maybe a few other dancers, no one wants to stand in the middle, everyone's gonna push in the middle. You kind of like stand in the very back or stand like on the side. You don't want anyone to watch you. And that is the hurdle that you have to overcome. It's not your dance ability. It's your tolerance to having other people watch you dance. And that is probably the bottleneck of your current skill class. That is probably the bottleneck of your current dance class ability. It's not how well you can dance. It's a little bit, it's probably like 25%, 30%. But most of the reason why most people don't have fun in class is because they didn't do well in groups. So you could absolutely annihilate the routine in class, but that's not filmed. You don't get to have that video and share it on your Instagram for people to watch. So you could do well the entire class, but just fuck up the routine during groups, and you just automatically conclude that you had a bad class. But that's not the mindset that we want. Most people take the wrong lesson. They'll just think, oh yeah, if I'm doing poorly in groups, I'm a bad dancer. It's like, no, you don't know how to dance in groups. It's a completely different skill set. It's like you need to learn the difference. And this is something I remember from one of my training sessions when I used to train in a dance company back in 2024. I think it was like the last session of the term, and our coaches basically sat us all down. It was like an hour of just like brainstorming, her sharing stories, we're like sharing our dance goals. And there was this one girl who like opened up a little bit, and she was like, oh yeah, like I kept feeling that, like we were in the intermediate team, and the advanced dancers kept like, they don't mean to, but they kind of make us feel bad about ourselves. Or like, oh wow, like I want to be like them. Like I want to dance like them. I want to impress other dancers like them. How do I do that? Like, but no matter how hard I try, I don't know if I can have that main character energy. Like, how do I do that? How do I not only dance like them, but also stand at the very front in front of the camera and just have that confidence? And I tried to like answer her question, but I really gave a bad answer. But this is kind of like my redemption round. Like I want to like answer that question of like, how do I get better at being able to dance in front of a camera, dance in groups basically, because all the advanced dancers were really good at it. I mean, to be fair, they've been dancing for like 5-7+ years, so no shit, they're good at it. They deserve to dance like that, but that's another topic. Basically, what I should have said to her was like, okay, your goal right now is to be able to dance in front of a camera, and also, but most importantly, being able to be comfortable dancing in front of other people, be comfortable dancing in groups, and at the very least, those people watching you won't hinder your dance ability. Those people won't fuck up your routine, fuck up like your mindset, your flow state. So how do you do this? Well, first off, if you want to get good at anything, you first have to suck at it. And you have to suck at it a lot. That's probably obvious. It hasn't even come across your mind the specific tasks that you do, the specific actions that you do to get you closer towards your goal. Because a lot of people have the goal that, oh yeah, I want to dance well in groups, but how do I do that? Like what are the specific, like purely like detailed steps that I have to take for me to do that? But the thing is, like with a goal like that, there's no like way to prepare for it. Like you just have to like get up there and just start doing it. You just have to throw yourself in the deep end. It's kind of like starting dance class. It's like, it's going to suck, but that's the point. Like you're supposed to be crap at it now. You're not supposed to be good at it. It's hard for you to get closer towards that goal without putting a specific number of inputs. And what I mean by that is like, you decide the goal, which is dancing better in groups. What's the action that's going to get you closer to that goal? Her specific goal was like dancing in the middle in front of the camera, like for everyone to see, like being the spotlight. Okay, well, how many times have you been in the spotlight? How many times have you danced in the middle of the groups in front of a camera this week, this month, this year? Did you do it in class? Were you standing in the back during class? 3 times, 5 times, 10 times? How many times have you done it? And once you realize how few times that you've tried to do it, you realize you're nowhere near the goal that you want. You're so far away from it because it's hard for you to achieve goals, but instead, the way that I like to think about it, how many actions do I need to take for it to be more likely for me to achieve that goal? And the action that I need to take is standing in front of a spotlight, in front of a camera. How many times would I need to do that before I get good at it? Would it be 5 times? Would it be 10 times? Would it be a fucking 100 times? If I stood in the spotlight in front of a camera 100 times, would I dance better in groups by the end of those 100 times? On the 101st time, would I dance better? Probably. So your goal is not to get good at dance. Your goal is just to do the fucking action. It doesn't matter if you blank out fucking 70 times over or like half the times over. It doesn't matter if you do that. What matters is that you do the action. So by the time that you actually get to the 90th time, 100th time, you've become numb to it. You've desensitized yourself to the discomfort of dancing in groups, dancing in the middle of groups, being in the spotlight. That's basically what I should have said to her. I'm just kind of upset that like I gave such bad advice, but that's what I should have said, is just focus on the actions that you do, focus on the things that you're doing to get the output that you want. Because you don't achieve goals, you just do the actions that make it more likely to achieve that desired outcome. Reason number 3 that you keep blanking out in dance class, it's probably because you're just moving around the entire class, standing in different spots, learning different routines, different parts of the routine in different spots. That will really, really like stagger your dance progress, or at least stagger your retention of the choreography. Because like I said before, your brain loves habit. It likes being in familiar environments. If you keep changing up the environments, even if it's like a few meters to the right, a few meters to the back, a few meters to the front, that will really screw up your retention of the routine. And I know this basically goes against what everyone does in class, whatever teacher does, just to like keep things fresh. A lot of teachers will basically just make their dancers just kind of move around the entire class. They're just like, all right guys, find a different spot in the room. They'll just do that. I don't know why. I think it's just to like make things interesting, I guess. Or to like make people dance at the front if they're scared of dancing at the front. I know this is advice that basically goes against the grain, but I'm telling you, this will, if you keep doing this, like especially like multiple times, like if you go on a water break and you stand in like a different spot, that kind of like fucks you up. Try and do your best to stand in the same spot during the entire class. Okay, look, it doesn't have to be like this particular like wooden floorboard on the dance floor. You can move around a little bit, you know, but learn the routine where you are going to perform the routine. For me, it's always middle left. And that way, I don't like to stand, like when I'm learning the routine, I don't like to stand directly behind the teacher, because that way I can only see the back of them, but I can't see their arms. I can't even like see the mirror. Like I have to like look around like this, but I have to look around like this to like see with their arms. So sometimes I do that, I still can't see it. So if I stand a little bit off center, that way I can see the back of them and I can see what they're doing in the mirror and what their arms are doing. I like to do that. And also the middle left is kind of a place where like not a lot of people like to stand. They kind of like to stand away from the middle. You know, it's so odd. When you watch back like the class videos from your studio, it'll just be like, the formations are so bad. It's basically like a lot of people, it's like the camera's like in the middle and around it, there's like a bunch of like dancers just like creating like a mini circle. There's like an empty circle in the middle. And like no dancer wants to fill up that gap because they know they're going to be on camera. I always try to dance like middle left, more like middle left, like more to the middle and more to the left, because that way a lot of people don't really stand there, and that way I have an advantage. I'm like, okay, when I dance the routine during groups, I don't get like a blank out feeling. I'm like, oh yeah, like what was the routine? What was the first move? I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm in this spot. I've learned the entire routine in this spot. My brain doesn't have to like think back. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm in a familiar environment. I've been doing this for the last 40 minutes. This is familiar to me. And now I'm just going to do the routine because I've been learning the routine in the same spot fucking over and over again. I've drilled it dozens of times. So now it's just going to feel natural to me. I'm in a familiar environment compared to learning the routine in one spot and like learning like the first checkpoint, the first few 8 counts, and then moving to another spot. Learning the next part and then taking a water break. Someone takes your spot and then you go to the next spot. And then like Instead of learning the routine, you have a water break, you come back, someone takes your spot, you have to stand somewhere else. Now you're learning on like the completely other side of the classroom. Now you're gonna forget it. You're gonna blank out. You have to think to yourself, oh yeah, like what was the move again? What was this part? Oh yeah, like this feels weird. The teacher's on my left side instead of my right side. It's gonna feel odd. You're gonna have to like, you almost have to like relearn, readjust your mind every time you move to a different spot in the room. So try and do your try and do your best to stand in a similar area for the entire duration of the class, just to take advantage of the visual cues that this tactic gives you. It's because your brain, it's just like leveraging your brain's natural inclination to learn things. When you're learning in the same environment the entire time, it's like that muscle memory is there. You don't have to like relearn the routine when you get to groups. So like, even though the environment is different, like I said before, the learning environment is different during groups. You don't have to like relearn, you don't have to like re-remember and like put active thought. You just stand in the same spot, and that way it takes away a bit of the difficulty from it. But at the very least, you're in like a familiar spot. So that way you're kind of leveraging your brain's natural inclination to learn things, and you're just stacking the advantages in your favor. So, oh fuck, I didn't even finish the story. Okay, no. Yeah, I'll finish the story right now. But yeah, I just saw my friend after like 6 months of like not seeing her. So I was, oh wow, like what are you doing here? I was like catching up, talking about dance, what have you been doing, what have you been up to, you know? And we were like catching up, and we're like waiting for the class, like beginner class to finish so we could walk into our intermediate class. And she's like, oh yeah, she's like we're looking through the window, and she's like, oh dude, I really hope no one takes my spot. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, wait, what do you mean take your spot? And she's like, no. My spot is always center right. It was center right. It was like, I think her spot was like up front and to the left. Like the teacher would be in the middle, and then like to the left of her, well, my left, would be her every single time. And I realized that when she said that, I was like, wait, fuck. Every single time we've done a training session, every time we've danced in class, she stood in the same fucking spot every time. Maybe that's why she's so great of a dancer. And that's kind of the inspiration of this entire idea. I was like, oh wow, maybe she's fucking onto something. Maybe I could like start using this hack as well. Because it kind of goes against the grain of every single like dance class that you kind of do. It's like, oh, the teacher will be like, oh yeah, everyone just find your own spot. But for her, she was like, no, I'm just sticking in the same spot. And it's like, I like to learn in this environment, so I'm just going to continue doing that because it fucking works. It doesn't matter what like my teacher says. If it's working, getting me results, then why should I ever change it? And that was kind of the inspiration of like this tip and this hack. It was like, I think I learned this like 4 or 5 months ago when I saw her. I was like, oh wow, maybe I should try that. And maybe she was onto something. So next time you walk into a class, pick your own spot and stick to it. And be competitive about it. Don't like, make sure, like even when we come back from a water break, just go straight back to your spot. Don't let anyone else fucking take it. Just stick to it and make sure, so that way you actually do groups with as many advantages as possible if you implement all these 3 tips. And that way, like, it helps save a little bit of the embarrassment, the hard part of like being a beginner dancer, because when you're a beginner dancer, dance is already hard enough. Like you don't want to like you don't want to make it any harder than you have to. And that's kind of like the whole point of these videos, is to help you with that. I used to suck as a dancer, but those are 3 things that helped me suck a little bit less in the last 3 years of my dance. Hope this helps.